Hello folks, we're going to go over how to turn a circle into a sphere. So we're going to go from a two-dimensional shape to a three-dimensional shape. I'm going to leave this handout up here so that you can see it, and we're going to go ahead and start. So we're going to use chalk pastels, and I need to choose a color, I need to choose a tone that my sphere is going to be. So I'm going to go with orange. I'm going to have a couple paper towels nearby because chalk pastels make a lot of dust. One of these will be for wiping my dust off on, and the other one will be for wiping my hands. So I'm just going to set that up there. And then I'm going to take and go ahead and start. So when I start the sphere, I'm going to use the side of my pastel only. There are no lines at all in this project until the very, 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 very end. So I'm going to take and I'm going to go round and 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 round. These are going to be my mid-tones. So this is the color of the object. I'm going to smudge. So I'm going to blend, 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 round, 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 blend, 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 blend. Okay, and you'll notice I have some on my hands, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off on my wiping towel. And the dust piles that I have there, I'm going to go ahead and tap that off onto my chalk towel. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in the highlight, the shadow, and the cast shadow. Okay. So when I do my highlight, I have to make sure it's across from my light source. Okay. I'm going to make it match my handout just so it's a little easier to see. So my light source is coming from over here, so my highlight has to be here. So I'm going to grab a white, okay, and I'm going to go round, 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 for my highlight. And blend, 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 blend out, blend out, blend out, blend out, blend out, blend out. I get much bigger than the original shape. That helps mix the two colors together, so it's not really easy to see where one color starts and the other one stops. And tap my drawing off of my dust towel out there. I'm going to come back. So I've got my highlight, I've got my midtones, now I need my shadow. When I add the shadow, I have to be careful because it's really hard to take chalk off, to take color off. It's much easier to add it. So I'll add it a little bit at a time and add more if I think I need it. You can use either a black for your shadow for deep and dark and dramatic shadows, or you can use a darker version of the color that you're using, so you want to keep it in the same color family. So I'm going to use a brown to start. And when I do my shadow, I'm going to use a nice crescent moon shape. It's going to line right up with my highlight. Okay, everybody see that crescent moon shape there? And then I need to make sure I leave space for this little skinny light line, this reflection. That's going to be a midtone again. So I'm going to use the side of the chalk again. I'm going to make a nice crescent moon shape. Okay. I think I need a little bit more tone back there. And I'm going to set that down. And I'm going to blend again. So nice curved marks following the shape of the object, trying not to get too much shadow back here. Okay, that's pretty good. If I feel like I need it, I can always go back and add a little bit more of the original color, the original tone, back in there to the middle if I feel like it didn't mix well enough. Okay. So I feel pretty good about that. So I'm going to go ahead and tap it off onto my dust towel. And then I'm going to take the same shadow color and I'm going to do the cast shadow here underneath. Your cast shadow should be similar to your object. So we're doing a sphere, so it's going to be kind of a stretched out circle. It's going to be more of an oval. And I want to make sure that it starts underneath the object. If it's way over here, it's not going to make sense. So again, using the side of my chalk, starting under the object, doing a nice oval shape. Let it disappear at the edges a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to blend, 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 blend. Okay. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a reflection, a little bit of a lighter area here where I have allowed the light that's here to wrap around this round object and show there. Now, this is with shadows with a similar color, so they're pretty soft, they're not very dramatic, they're not very high contrast, they're very low contrast. If I wanted to up the drama a little bit and make it a little bit more dramatic, have more contrast, I would add a much darker shadow. So I'm going to go in with some black, and we're just going to take a look at the difference. And whatever I do to the shadow on my object, I want to do to the shadow on the area below the object as well, that cast shadow. Need a little bit more of the original tone in there. That got a little dark. And I actually think it got a little too dark for my highlight too, so I'm going to put some of that back in. And this is where the towel to wipe your fingers off on comes in handy when you get a bunch of colors on your fingers. Things start getting mixed up where you don't want them to get mixed up. Okay, again, making sure I still got that light edge. And then I'm going to go in with my cast shadow. I like to let my cast shadow get really light on the edges and fade away. So much darker, a lot more drama, a lot more contrast. Go ahead and tap that off. Ta-da!